coverage you can count on.
Some areas where our Target 8 investigation looks at complaints from new homeowners who say they didn't get what the seller promised, and state law lets it happen.
In this Target 8 investigation, KOMU 8's Austin Walker takes you inside the home of a family that has had enough.
Imagine moving halfway across the country, buying a brand new home, but later finding out what you bought isn't what you thought it would be. I spoke with a frustrated family who says the problems aren't just cosmetic, and those problems keep adding up.
14 months since we've been in, and we got stuff like this. This was not a new home.
After raising a family in Arizona, Greg, Phyllis, and the rest of the Smullins family took a chance, spending over $300,000 on a brand new home here in Columbia. Brand new, according to an ad on Zillow.
We love the view from the balcony here.
But after moving in, the Smullins family felt shortchanged.
There's just a big gap you can stick.
It seemed like a new cosmetic issue popped up every day.
We've had to have the dishwasher replaced. We paid $800 just to have the upstairs here painted. We've had to fix our toilet in the master bathroom.
And during our interview,
right here, cabinet's coming apart.
Oh-wee!
The homeowners noticed this cabinet didn't look right either.
See the cabinet coming apart right here?
I didn't even notice that.
But the problem is, should there be any cosmetic issues if the home is labeled brand new? Phyllis Smullin says Darren Wilcoxon from Wilcoxon Custom Homes sold them a home, far from brand new.
He sold us a brand new home
that somebody lived in.
I dug through a previous bill for the address before the couple moved in. Here is a bar graph that represents the bill before the couple moved in. From December of 2017 to March of 2018, you can see a pretty big increase. For more than 3 months, a neighbor saw a car pull into the driveway at night and out in the morning. He also bought a Wilcoxon custom home. He asked to remain anonymous, but says construction issues hit close to home.
After you sold the house, they didn't want to honor their product when other contractors stood behind their guarantees and their warranties.
Columbia real estate agent Billy Dexheimer says, generally speaking, some sellers don't disclose everything.
In Missouri, there's not very many things that the state requires you to disclose.
And that's according to the statute. The seller only has to disclose if there was ever methamphetamine production on the property. The Dexheimer says the seller doesn't even have to tell buyers who else has lived there.
It's hard to say buyer beware, but it's very true because, you know, purchasing a home is not only a massive investment for a family, it's where they spend their time, it's where they raise their kids, it's where their pets are, it's where they have Thanksgiving, and you want to make sure that that place that they live in on a daily basis and is such a big part of their lives is something that they're comfortable with once they get that key at closing.
I reached out to Darren Wilcoxon and he agreed at first to an interview, but then the next day called to cancel.
Hey, I'm going to decline this interview.
I do want to ask if you would reconsider that because I think this is a chance for you to maybe explain
Well, I do, but then that gives you a story, and I'm just going to decline it, and then I spoke with an attorney this morning, and they just recommend I not talk to you about it, so.
I reached out again to Wilcoxon, and he sent me a statement. The statement in part says, quote, the concerns of Mr. and Mrs. Smullins relate almost wholly to cosmetic items, which should have been objected to by them prior and at the final walkthrough, instead of waiting until after closing. Wilcoxon has explained its position and the terms of its limited warranty to Mr. and Mrs. Smullins repeatedly. Because Mr. and Mrs. Smullins continue to make unfounded allegations, Wilcoxon, through counsel, recently sent a formal response to Mr. and Mrs. Smullins, again explaining such matters and denying their allegations. In conclusion, Wilcoxon complied with its limited warranty in all respects, and Mr. and Mrs. Smullins have a very nice home, which is well worth the purchase price. But after a year, the Smullins say they have a serious case of buyer's remorse after learning a hard lesson about buyer beware.
What's next?
Good question. I'm tired. I'm tired of pushing. I'm tired of calling. I just wish somebody from the state or the city would reach out and start making changes.
for the people, not just for us, but for the people.
Yeah.
I spoke with the Smullins family a couple days ago, and they received this letter from an attorney. The letter says Wilcoxon never lived in the home. The letter also says one person stayed at the home a few nights and on an air mattress and did not use the appliances. If you're moving into or around Missouri, Billy Dexheimer says there are a few things to look for so these problems never happen to you.
Well, because there's not a lot of laws in Missouri about what sellers have to disclose, a lot of times we always say buyer beware, because the buyers need to be really diligent when they're purchasing a home. They need to have their inspections done. They need to check the title, any covenants for the neighborhood. There's all kinds of things, which is why it's nice to have a real estate agent by your side to help you along with that.
The Smullins also told me they would do some things different. Phyllis says if they would have known Missouri law or absence of law, they would have been more aggressive during their search. If doing it all over again, the Smullins would have made sure their original realtor was present during the final walkthrough. If you've ever had similar problems, send us an email at news@komu.com. For this Target 8 investigation, I'm Austin Walker.